All right, what is up, guys? It is Monday currently, and I'm clocking into the 9 to 5 for this week. Monday is when we start our training week in preparation for K2. So that's when the legs are fresh, but we're about to beat them down for the next 7 days or so. Well, like 6 or whatever. Just gonna be bringing you guys along, showing you what I do on a weekly basis leading up to K2. We're literally like 3 weeks out now, so we're pretty much at the peak right now, trying to attain maximum fitness and mental strength as well. So yeah, it's Monday. The legs are feeling fresh, like I said, so I'm just gonna be bringing you through what I'm doing today. I'm also gonna be bringing you through like what I eat and how I feel and supply my body with what it needs throughout the week. And we eat a lot, I'm gonna be honest, but yeah, I'll never consider myself a climber or an experienced climber per se, especially right now. But I will say I've locked in pretty hard on like nutrition, fitness, because I've been pretty fascinated about it for the last like 5 years or so. So that's the one thing I can say I'm fairly good at. So I'm excited to share my strategies, I'm gonna tell you my course and everything. Just kidding. Stupid. We're just gonna go through it and I'm gonna explain what's going on. So yeah, we're currently at a mountain in Washington right now. It's pretty high. And of course, you're gonna wanna climb in preparation for K2, but a lot of it is fitness and you need to be physically there, because if you're strong, if you can not get as fatigued, you're not gonna feel the altitude as much, and then you can make better decisions. You can focus on what you're doing in the climbing and you'll just feel stronger. And ultimately that's, you know, you're better off being twice as fit than twice as good of a climber when it comes to these high altitude peaks. Obviously you need to do both, but fitness is huge when it comes to that altitude game, which is why I got into it. And then I fell in love with climbing as well. I'm gonna be out here for about 4.5 hours today, and I might as well explain this as I'm going, but we're basically just gonna be going up a mountain as fast as we can twice. I'm currently fasted on like a 13-hour fast. We'll eat after the first ascent, come back to the car, eat, and then go back up. So yeah, let's just hop into this, bruv. All right, we'll start off with a nice little jog up to the actual trail and before we start dialing in on elevation. Yeah, so if you guys have been watching this channel in particular, you'll know that I try to get out for very heavy pack days, so like 50 pounds, and I'll go out for 6 hours. And I was doing that multiple times a week. Now I'm just doing it once, and I've instead switched those couple days, or the multiple days I was doing it, with this, which is just running up the trail or getting up it as fast as I can. Because one thing I've realized on these high altitude peaks, like K2, Ama Dablam, you need to have like the strongest lungs possible. And although you're gonna be carrying heavy packs, so you need to train both, that's why I still do it, it's so much more is your lungs. And if you have a heavy pack, you just don't get to that like level of fatigue and lung work, because it's your legs that are getting worked because they're carrying 50 pounds. So that's why instead of using a big pack and going slow, we go up this easy trail that we can take small steps with and try to simulate being in a low oxygen environment to the point where we're breathing very heavy, and we'll be in end up being in like zone 4 the entire time. The one thing you got to be worried about though is if you're hauling too fast, it might initiate a mountain lion's animalistic urge to go for your neck. So you got to be ready. We're like 10 minutes in, probably zone 3. Now I'm already having to breathe really hard, which is what we want. Makes us feel like we're in the death zone, baby. Now a lot of people will say like to train for long endurance objectives like climbing, you want to be in zone 2, maybe zone 3, which is completely valid.
And I do think that is the case if you're not at altitude. When you're at altitude, you're in like a whole other game. Like, it doesn't matter if you're taking 1 step a second or less, 1 step every 5 seconds, you're gonna be in zone 3 and 4. So it makes sense that you should train for the zone you're gonna be in the most. So that way you suffer down here, so you're either ready for the suffering up high or you don't suffer as much. Now, a common like counter I'll hear to that is, well, then you're not gonna be as strong tomorrow because you pushed it too hard today. I think a lot of people will do like, try upping up the zone, and they feel so tired the next day, they're like, oh, am I gonna sacrifice tomorrow just so I can have a little bit better workout today? But honestly, dude, the body adapts. Your body will learn how to recover in such a short amount of time if you do it long enough. On these big mountains, you might do a 16-hour push, summit push, and the next day a storm's coming in, you got to do another 16-hour push down to base camp. So it really is just preparing for what you might see up there. And if it becomes normal down low, it sure as hell is going to be a lot easier up above. Whoa. Second half is when the demons come out. Seriously, you got to be able to stick it through. What was that? Oh, this is PB right here. Sub 103. I only went that hard because I saw potential sub 1 hour, but we didn't get it, so. But still, gave me that reason to push. Basically, if you go here, that is 3.83 miles and 32, just over 3,200 feet of gain in just about an hour. Now we go back down and do it again. Not as fast, but reason we're gonna do it again is because, yes, like I've been talking about, there needs to be a balance between speed like that, really working those lungs, because I'm not at Colorado. If you're in Colorado, you can like get that amount of oxygen deprivation just from being there because of the altitude. But here you got to work a balance of speed and then long and slow. Let's go. That's lap number 1 complete. Back at the trailhead. And we got up and down that John in 1:47. Not shabby. Now let's break this fast. So of course I'm gonna go into what I eat like for my meals on a different day when I actually have like 3 of my full meals. But for now I'm gonna kind of just go into what I eat on my days out. So this is like all the snacks, all the nutrition I'm gonna be bringing on K2. First of all, yes, we're fasted. It is now 9:30, so we've been fasted for 16 hours, which is perfect. Get some good autophagy in there, the destruction of dead cells, and also just using and utilizing energy in our body that we weren't feeding it directly. So there's glycogen, there's sugar all throughout your body, cholesterol, fat that you can use up when you're fasted. So that's the goal, is to make our body fat adapted. But we're gonna start off pinch of pink Himalayan sea salt, maybe even 2 for the electrolytes, because we were sweating up that John. We're often told that for endurance sports and even just short intensity, high intensity sports, like activity in general, you want to be eating a lot of carbs. But recently I've actually been switching to a lower carb, I guess, lifestyle or diet, and mainly prioritizing animal protein and animal fats. I still get carbs in because I can't go into a complete state of ketosis because, well, the cooks in Pakistan aren't going to be cooking up ribeye steaks. What the hell is that? Ribeye steaks. So I need to be able to use both. But this is just what I've found has been working really well for me. Like, personal best right there. I haven't eaten in a pretty long time. In my last meal last night, the only carb in it was like a small apple. And then it was just animal protein, fat, and veggies. I'm not full carnivore, fellas. Don't get that impression. When we are out, I'm gonna be bringing a ton of chomps, and this video is not even sponsored. Like, I just did one for them, but like 10 grams of protein. It's high quality protein, by the way. This isn't like
whey or plant-based, it doesn't have as solid of an amino acid profile, but grass-fed beef and then stuff like eggs, whole eggs, have a very high quality protein count. So that's what we're getting from Chomps, essentially. But of course I do get the carbs in still, especially when I'm training. That's when I try to time them the most. But of course you got the Protobar. I'm always plugging these. You guys see these 15 grams of high quality protein, 4 egg whites, 0 added sugar. It has like 20 grams of net carbs. Yeah, 13 grams of sugar. And then the last thing, which I've just recently added in, are these Hungies. They're essentially, this is the vanilla cinnamon flavor, but I eat so much butter. That's how I get a lot of calories in. I'm eating about 3,500 calories a day. I forgot to mention that, and I'll show that all. Yeah, this is clarified ghee. So it's like, or grass-fed ghee, sorry. But ghee is basically like clarified butter. They take the lactose out of butter. It's grass-fed, and then raw honey, and then basically ancient sea salt, and then some other natural stuff for whatever flavor it is. So that was kind of a tangent, but basically just really high quality ingredients. I just don't think that putting like pure sugar, honey stingers on honey stingers is really like the best idea, especially for the long term. Your body wants stuff like this, in my opinion. Even if it's like fruit leathers, I used to do a lot of the fruit leathers, but I've switched off of the higher carb end of things, and I'm really prioritizing the protein and fat now. So all right, now it's time to head back up this John. Legs are feeling fresh again. Come on now, got like 500 calories in us. That's breakfast right there. And a lot of you may be like, oh, what's the obsession with the protein? But I think 1 gram per 1 pound of body weight is super ideal. There's conflicting research everywhere, but excessive protein intake, unless if you're like getting in 10 grams or something really excessive, like 5 to 10 grams per 1 pound, it doesn't hurt your liver, your kidney. That's actually not true in a normal person. And the reason why I incorporate into so many of my foods, such as the Chomps and the Protobar, I do not want to lose muscle mass in the mountains. And it's pretty well researched and proven that if you're in a deficit and your protein intake is pretty good, then you'll likely maintain muscle mass more effectively. So let's go, let's finish this off. We already finished the hard part, so just gotta get up one more time. Bam, that's 2. Let's go, we're done. Alrighty, it ended up being a 4-hour, 19-minute day, 15 miles, and a good staggering 6,600 feet of gain, 2,500 calories. Brother, I am looking dead right now. That second time up was actually pretty brutal, especially because it got hot out. And after that first exertion, I mean, that was just a bit diabolical there. That's the first workout of the week right there, starting off strong, getting those lungs and legs fatigued, but we're not done yet. This week's just getting started. So I have a few more fun things planned for this week, actually, from like climbing to just hard workouts. They're not really fun. Some of it's fun. This was not fun, but we do it anyways. It's purposeful, which is what motivates me to do it, not because it's fun. All right, y'all, I am completely flabbergasted, knackered right now. Hard day, and we're not done yet because now we have to foam roll and stretch the hell out of ourselves so we don't get injured and we recover for tomorrow. This is the worst part of my day right here. I just want to chill and edit a video. But you already know we're going all out right here. We got the freaking massage gun, we got the foam roller, we got the lacrosse ball. We're going freaking deep in here, man. The reason I take this so seriously is because a lot of people complain about knee pain or back pain or foot pain, and they think they overtrained, when in reality, you probably just have some tight knot somewhere. Literally, you need to learn your body, learn where it's tight, learn where your muscles frequently act up, because everybody's different. It's just like the way your gait might be, the way you walk, the way you run, the way you take impact. Certain things get really tight. For me, my lats get really tight, or actually like my hip flexors, like I was talking about earlier, get super tight, probably because I sat around gaming for half of my life. And that will lead to back pain, foot pain, everything if I don't stretch it out. So a lot of people do think it is overtraining, and I've even thought that once, but really you just need to find the right thing to massage and stretch. And of course, this is going to lead to better recovery too, because you're getting blood flow in those spots that you've just worked. If it's all tight and knotted, the blood's not flowing as well, and blood is what heals the muscles. So let's dial in. Alrighty, so it is the Friday version of me. I recorded all that stuff on Monday and I realized how much footage I got. So I'm not actually going to record every single day, but I'm just going to recap what I ended up doing throughout the week. I woke up on Tuesday, the next day, 6 a.m. per usual, went for a 10-miler. Usually when I go for morning runs, it's after a hard day like we had the day before, and it is really just to put more load on the legs, not trying to win any awards there, but really it's just teaching the legs like, okay, you only had one night of recovery, now you're back at it, let's go. And then in the afternoon, we hit a nice CrossFit workout. We were doing some heavy front tempo squats, some good stuff right there. A lot of you might be curious why why I do CrossFit as a part of my training for big mountains, because it's kind of the opposite of what you would think. CrossFit is very high intensity, and then climbing is pretty low intensity. The reason for this is because, well, one, I want to do something for my strength training that's shorter because I spend so much time on my cardio. But the other is I just love the CrossFit environment. I really push myself, and I think strength training in general is super important when you're climbing mountains because you do want to be durable. It's a pretty common idea it's pretty proven that the lighter you are, the faster you can run and you burn less calories, and it technically is better for ultra endurance sports like climbing or marathon running. But for me personally, I want to be stronger. I just would rather be able to lift stuff. And also, if there's a rock that comes down off of house's chimney and hits me in the leg, I got some metal quads, metal tree trunks to just deflect the thing so it doesn't even affect me. And then Wednesday, we went back to the old Mount Si. This time I was just doing it once in a morning run. We did it in 107, which was pretty solid for a Wednesday, because at this point my legs are pretty fatigued. They're not as fresh anymore. But yeah, we got that one in. And then later that day, I actually went rock climbing, which I guess is unrelated to K2. You do a little bit of rock climbing on K2. It's mixed ice climbing. But yeah, we just went to Index. I was leading some trad on a nice 5-8 route here in this video. You're not going to be leading trad routes on K2, but it does get you in the no-fall headspace and just allows you to get into that zen-like state when you're climbing, which is pretty important, not to panic and anything. So I do think it is part of my training for K2, even though it isn't directly related. And then I ended up having a suffer fest yesterday, guys. Thursday was absolutely brutal. Now, usually I would go out, like I was saying on Monday, I'd go out for a 6-hour day with the 50-pound pack. Every once in a while, I'll go out for a 12-hour day with a 35-pound pack. And I decided to make yesterday one of them because we're getting so close to K2. And I was absolutely fried, fellas. I did 12,000 feet of gain. Reason you want to implement these long days every so often is because there will be times when you're summit pushing, such as on K2, for minimum 12 hours. So you have to be able to be in a state where your legs are just so tired and you don't want to take another step, like I was yesterday at hour 8. But then you have to go for another 4 hours. So it's such an important mental states to go through, the pain cave, and your body does remember those things where it was I have nothing left, but my legs are just gonna keep moving. And then Friday, which is today, I did a 5-mile run right after waking up. So no 10-miler, sorry guys, but I decided 5 miles was pretty good. Really, I just wanted to get the blood flowing after yesterday because I could feel the soreness in my muscles, and I always believe movement is medicine and getting blood flow to things will heal them quicker. So I didn't want to push myself too hard, but just a little bit to get out of my comfort zone with how sore my legs were. So really slow pace. And then later today, I'll do another CrossFit workout. Seems like it's mostly arms, upper body, which is perfect because my legs are so sore. So throw a video of that on screen. And then tomorrow, which is kind of the last final routine training day of the week, we're just going to do another CrossFit workout in the morning. And then basically for the rest of Saturday and Sunday, we're resting. Not totally resting. I always keep it active recovery. So I might even go rock climbing for an easier session, or I'll go for an easy run here and there. Friends want to go on a hike, I'll go on a hike with them. So that way my legs can refresh themselves to get back at it and redo the same thing on Monday without the 12-hour day. But everything else, same thing. But yeah, that's pretty much all my workouting for the week. But like I said way before, I was going to show you guys what I eat on a day-to-day basis. And it is a lot of food. But as we saw yesterday, we burned like 5,000 calories. So we got to fuel it back in the best way possible for the most optimal recovery, which is so important so you can go back to back to back to back. So let's hop into the macros. Alrighty, we are about to break this 15-hour fast. We just got back from the CrossFit workout. This is what we're having. So we just have 2 bowls here. We have a whole apple, bunch of strawberries, some plain yogurt for the gut's health, and some almonds. And then we have 6 eggs, 2 tablespoons of butter, and then some yellow peppers. Pretty simple, but we're getting everything we need in here. All right, so I'm not sure how many macros that is, but we're just gonna throw that up on screen. I've got my cholesterol tested. My HDL is actually a little bit lower than what it could be, so I'm trying to get that up. And then my LDL and total cholesterol are very good. We got some good levels going on, so it's all about just trying out different things, getting your blood tested, and you can literally get an at-home test and see for yourself how your body is doing. So, all right, so if you can't tell what this concoction is, basically it's a full avocado, half a pound of chicken breast, sweet potato and some broccoli, and a bunch of butter. And then we're also gonna have a Protobar with it, just because I know I'm gonna be hungry. So yes, if you couldn't tell by this point, I'm not actually married, I don't have a wife, and my cooking is not that great, but we're getting all the macronutrients we need in, and it's all healthy, natural stuff. Alrighty, now we got the final meal of the day before we commence on another 16-hour fast. We have 427 grams of steak, all grass-fed, a little bit of broccoli, get the greens in for mom, and we have another concoction. Basically, it's boiled apples, yogurt, butter, blueberries, and a little bit of almonds. So yeah. Essentially, I'm going to be doing a climb tomorrow and be out for like 10 hours. It just happened to come up, so I'm gonna go for it. It's gonna be Little Tahoma on Rainier, so we're getting the freaking calories in. But anyways, that's gonna do it for this week's training session. All of our training sessions throughout the week, everything I ate. Hope you guys enjoyed and found it useful. Obviously, everyone has their own thing that works for them. You don't have to follow a specific routine, especially someone on the internet telling you what's best, because likely what's best for them may not be best for you. But this is just my thought processes and everything I do that's personally working for me. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.